guys, this is an update video sharing how Molly is doing. This was asked a couple times how things are going with her. I wanted to wait to do this video for two reasons. First off, she recently had some chest x-rays done, and that's the first sign that tells us if the cancer has come back or not. So I wanted to wait to get those done before I gave an answer and then, you know, had to retract her. Anyway, so I was trying to wait for that. And then also today, December 5th, marks the 7-month mark since she got her leg amputated. So for those of you who are new or don't know the story, my dog Molly, she is 10 now. Molly, you're not even in the picture. There we go. Back in May, just a lump appeared on her leg. We got it x-rayed and we found out that it was bone cancer. It just appeared from one day to the next. So we got her leg amputated like 3 days later. That's the only way to really ease the pain because it must have been so painful. It was eating away at her bone in her leg. It could snap like at any minute. And then she started chemotherapy. So she had 6 rounds of chemotherapy, and chemotherapy for dogs, it's not as hard on the body as it is for humans. There was about 2 days where she wasn't too fond of eating. We had to like mix it with wet food and really encourage her to eat. And then also where she was a little bit more tired. Tripsy. But aside from that, you know, everything was completely normal. After those 2 or 3 days, she'd bounce back, and there was about 3 weeks between chemotherapy sessions. So she ended those in September, and then, girls, and then they took x-rays then, and they said her lungs were clear, and they said to recheck it in about 2 to 3 months, which brought us to the December mark. So basically with bone cancer, osteosarcoma, even though they removed it at the leg where the lump was, where most of it was, 90% of the time when they diagnose it, it has already spread to the rest of the body, and that's why you do chemotherapy, to slow down the spreading immensely. But it's never going to actually completely go away. Like people say, oh, they're cancer free for this. It's still in there. It's just the cells aren't dividing quickly because the chemotherapy helped kind of come it to an almost standstill. But it is still there. So the #1 place where you see it first is that it spreads to the lungs. So, I mean, it's inevitable. I know it will happen. But yeah, basically I didn't hear any like difficulty breathing because that's kind of a telltale sign, but a lot of times you can't tell yet. It shows up in the x-rays first. So I was a little nervous going into it, but she had blood work done, and as soon as the oncologist came into the exam room, because I was waiting, I'm just like, just get to the x-ray. So she's like, oh, her blood work looks good. Her liver enzymes are still a little elevated, but she's on a supplement for that. She's like, but it's, you know, just the high end of normal. She's like, nothing really to worry about. And I'm like, the x-rays. And she said that the x-rays are clear. They are looking good. I am so happy. I almost wanted to cry because, I mean, she wasn't showing any signs, but that's the thing. Before you can see it or like hear it, as a person's perspective, usually it'll show up in the x-rays first, depending, you know, with the x-rays when they're done. But I am so happy. So yeah, and she's such a happy dog. Although now she's had enough of this story and she's lying on the floor. A lot of people like that I meet in passing on our walks like ask, well, you know, she's such a big dog, she's so old, do you think it was worth it? And I definitely do. Oh my goodness. Like the first week, I'm not gonna lie, it was the hardest thing. I doubted if I made the right decision, but like after her amputation, but once she got moving again, she's back to her normal self. She's so happy. Obviously our lifestyle did change. Her lifestyle, we used to go for hour and a half off-leash walks. She can't do that anymore. Now we drive to the off-leash dog park. She goes for 10 minutes or so, and if she wants to lie down at any time, then, you know, that's it. We just have a little rest, and I just stand around or just pet her, and, you know, that's part of it. Then around the block, she can just do that. It's like about a 5-minute walk, and you know, she's pretty tired. So that definitely has changed. But aside from that, everything is completely the same. We still made an effort to walk her, like, even though it's, you know, we don't want her muscles to waste away. And I mean, with amputation and the chemotherapy, it is expensive. And that's why my lifestyle has also changed. You know, I'm not spending very much money on myself and the house and stuff I used to do. I was even looking back at some of my old videos, and I'd have like haul after haul. I'd spend $100 at Bath and Body Works and this, and you know, that doesn't happen anymore. And I mean, it obviously depends where you are. In Canada, things seem to be more expensive than ever, but I've, you know, spent over $10,000 on her just since May. So it's definitely, it's been hard budget-wise as well, but she's completely worth it. And just seeing how happy she is, and that we're 7 months after, you know, everything happened, and she's still doing so well, it just, yeah, it makes it so worth it. So research says that with like the amputation and chemotherapy, the dogs have an average like extra life expectancy of about a year. Of course, so much changed. I had talked to someone who did the amputation, and then after their second round of chemotherapy, x-ray showed that it had spread, and that was it. And then on the other side of the spectrum, people have said their dog lived for like 2 or 3 years more. So whatever more I can get, I'm just so grateful and just feel so blessed to have that extra time with Molly. She definitely was not ready to say goodbye. And I know eventually that time will come, and it's gonna be the hardest thing ever. But we just live every day at a time, and I just hope that she's one of the extra special cases that still will live, you know, another 2 or 3 years. Because she's definitely a fighter. Even now, the vet and the techs at the hospital are like, oh my goodness, she's so strong. And she was really good for her x-ray. The second time, I think, she jumped off the x-ray table while they were in the middle of taking x-rays, and then so they said, okay, next time she has to be sedated for it. But this time they're like, well, we'll try not sedating her, and I took her for a little run, like a 10-minute run beforehand, so she wasn't as hyper. And they said she was a perfect angel. Of course, they could just be telling me that, but she didn't jump off the exam table. And then I think the time when that happened, she also like slipped and then bonked her chin, but she was so good. I'm so proud of her. And just adjustments about the house. Our beautiful hardwood floors have now been covered with rugs and yoga mats, because those are very nice, slip-free, and just like little runners wherever like any other kind of carpet scraps. But that's okay. Like, I'm not trying to have a beautiful designer house, so it's worth it. And then if people come to the house that don't really know me that well, or you know, like, I just remind them that all those strange, because it's all mismatched from my mom's house, from what I found in the crawl space, from Dan's parents' house, like it's just all, there's like a burgundy, a green, a tan, like all different textures and stuff, but you know, that's what it is, and people understand. Anyways, I will update you guys if anything changes with Molly. Heaven forbid, I really hope not. But overall, I'm just so happy. And we bought her on clearance, a Halloween costume for $3 that, like, after Halloween, in November, that I'm like, you're gonna wear this next Halloween. So I know you're gonna make it to Halloween in a year. Then it will be a year and a half. So thank you guys so much for watching, and just from when I was going through all of that, for all of your wonderful supportive comments, and yeah, I'm just so thankful. I love my Molly. So and the other girls too, of course. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.